My Austin 7 Special. This would be the early 60s. I'd been fairly recently married. We had a nice apartment in Alexander Park, Manchester, Whalley Range, just overlooking the park. Rather nice. So inevitably the next thought was transport. Of course, we normally use buses to go to work, and that was the way it was. In those days, what was probably the equivalent of, in nowadays, the Craigslist was a weekly magazine called Exchange and Mart. This had everything for sale in there and was particularly strong for used cars. Austin 7s at that time were relatively cheap. I mean, there were many to buy. A decent one cost you £20, which actually sounds quite cheap. But you've got to remember, in fact, there were people probably who were only earning £5 or £6 a week in those days. Was regarded as probably a living wage just. Anyway, looking in the Exchange and Mart, I saw Austin 7 Special. It sounded interesting. I think the guy must have had a telephone for sure. You know, many people didn't have telephones in those days, but I think he had a phone. So I called him up and we went over to see it. And it was a shell, really. There was a body on it. There's an engine in it, wheels. It didn't have a floor as far as I remember. And we agreed a deal. Basically, I paid him £10 in cash. And gave him, threw into the deal, a reel-to-reel tape recorder. It must have been mobile in some sense. I can't remember how it arrived at where we lived. I think he must have driven it there, actually. The police were not quite so pernickety in those days, so you might have just got away with it. I mean, it had number plates on it, but I mean, basically it was just a shell. And so it arrived, and I started work on this car. I found a scrapyard which had many cars there, old cars, broken cars, in Blakely. And I used to make regular trips there on the bus, and I picked up a windscreen and mud guards and a horn button and all kinds of things I needed. And gradually, bit by bit, I started to put it together and make it look like an actual car. Where we lived was a very large house, and at the back, on the ground floor at the back, there was a garden with a kind of a paved area. And it wasn't really used by anybody, so there was a really good workshop space, so I could actually leave tools there, and it was very convenient. It didn't have a hood, of course, so I actually made the metal part for the hood. I got the necessary fabric and actually on a sewing machine stitched it together, including a plastic window in the back. So it was really pretty good, actually. And once we got it together, I don't think, in fact, road tax. Yeah, road tax did exist at that time. It was a very small amount of money. The road tax was paid. It had to be insured, of course, which really didn't cost very much because, I mean, Austin 7 Special was not what you call a supercar. I mean, it went reasonably well, but, for many cars in those days, 30, 40 miles an hour was the norm, as it were. And we used it all over the place. Used to go to jazz gigs in it, over the Pennines to other jazz gigs. And ultimately, we actually used it when we moved to Oxford. Well, in fact, we actually went for my appointment with Robert Maxwell when I was first interviewed for the job in Oxford. And then we subsequently moved to Oxford, though my stepfather took most of the luggage in his car. Excuse me. And I can say quite honestly, it never failed us. The only thing it did occasionally it might have a propensity to boil over, but we used to carry a large jeroboam of water, so that dealt with that. And mechanically, no, never had any problems whatsoever. So basically, from a shell, I did everything: the windscreen, the hood, the windscreen wipers, the mud guards, all actually bought very cheaply from the scrapyard in Blakely. When we were in Oxford, obviously this little car attracted quite a bit of attention from some of the student population, and we were pressed quite mightily by a couple of young guys to sell it. Did we want to sell it? Well, you know, how life had changed somewhat. I mean, my salary had actually increased very significantly, so yeah, we agreed, and I think, I can't remember how much we got for it, £15 or something. It was quite a reasonable price, and off they went, very contented. It'd be very interesting to know whether in fact it still exists. I do doubt it, but there we are. And we ended up actually with a rather ritzy Wolseley, in fact, a grey one, which was rather nice, you know, with wooden dashboard and all the rest of it. So it was really quite an interesting adventure. I'd had some experience actually of restoration. When I was in the Air Force, I bought jointly with another guy, the late Tony Pringle, an Austin 7, but an actual Austin 7, in complete as it were. And I, in that particular case, I took the engine out. I mean, you could unbolt it, and one person could lift the engine out, no trouble, and stripped it down and took the pistons out, had it rebored and all kinds of stuff, painted it canary yellow. That particular one, actually, I sold to somebody in London, actually, a friend of mine, a friend of a friend, as it were. But that was quite a few years before, in fact, I actually had the Austin 7 Special. It's a difficult thing to do now unless you've got lots of money, but in those days, Austin 7s were the absolute touchstone for special projects. I mean, some, in fact, were very sophisticated indeed. And it's interesting, in fact, if you see them come up on classic car auctions, they bring significant amounts of money. And I mean, Austin 7s themselves, in good condition, or even not good condition, in fact, bring pretty substantial money, because, you know, the kind of stock of these things must be less and less and less, fewer and fewer and fewer. But that was really my first regular car, as it were. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please subscribe.